The students have returned. The traffic has increased. There's just a tiny little briskness in the air as the sun begins to rise. Touchdown City has been reignited. Oh, what's that over the hilltop? Well, that's the start of the college football season. But not this week here. So welcome to Calm Before the Season. Hoppy is so stressed out right now, it's off the chart, which means the season is upon us.
Do you know, I wrote about this today. I shouldn't say it because it reveals my age. I came to the University City 50 years ago this month.
Excuse me? Huh?
It just dawned on me. I was writing a piece about, the start of college and how WVU impacted me as a student, both intellectually and also socially, and what it meant to me, coming from a small town in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And I did the math. I said, okay, when did I come here? It's been 50 years. It kind of shocked me, Brad. Like, holy cow, wait a minute. Is that right? 50?
That's awesome.
Do the math again. 50
Yeah.
years ago. Went to football games. Enjoyed it.
Does it look different?
Yeah, it looks a little different.
Yeah, it does look a little different. We'll get into that. Hoppy's 50-year celebration.
Gosh.
Three guys before the game, brought to us by by Comex Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient. They've been here for half as long as Hoppy has been. They've been in business for 25 years. Hoppy's been here for 50. Regardless, Comex is the place to be. And one would say that perhaps Comex is aging better than Hoppy.
I would say so.
Three guys also brought to us by Gomart. Get that Gomart rewards card. Go to gomart.com for details. We are now down to 4 days. Down to 4 days at Gomart to sign up for the Mountaineer Man Trip. It's got to be in by the 23rd. We'll tell you about the details coming up.
That would be the coolest thing ever, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Walk with a man trip.
Walk, you be running. You'd be able to
Down
move
how many days?
to the 23rd.
23rd?
4 days from now.
Or maybe less if you're listening to this a day from now.
That's correct, too.
Unless you're listening live.
Three guys brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. All of those boats that they had shipped over for the Olympic opening ceremony back in there in St. Albans. Go in there and take a look. Three guys also brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way. High school football getting ready to go. Obviously, college football season getting ready to go. There ain't nothing better than a Saturday morning starting off with a big biscuit.
Big old biscuit. You think they'll be busy?
Yeah, they just pile them in there. Yeah, they will. They're in their football bakery mode. Three guys also brought to us by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond the numbers. We got more numbers for you in Brad's Spreads on Stats segment coming up. So 50 years, huh?
You know, that one Tudor's is right up the road from where the food court's going to be. Three Guys Food Court.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. University Avenue.
So you kind of get all of your needs. Stop up, get some Tudor's biscuits, take over the tailgate, swing down.
Yeah.
Grab your Rev Kev barbecue.
Yep.
Head over. Maybe a beverage or two, which may be coming.
Excuse me?
Beverage or two may be coming.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I saw something on the Twitter about that.
We'll get into this later, but an historic weekend was just happened for the Three Guys Food Court. Historic weekend.
You mean this past weekend?
Yeah, already happened. I'll tell you why. Show you.
Okay.
I'll show you why. Coming up in a little bit. So the classes at the university begin on Wednesday of this week, which means something entirely different than it used to. Like 50 years ago, when Hoppy was a student here as a freshman.
Sophomore.
You did.
Like you, I transferred in.
You did portal, didn't you?
You were in the portal?
I was in the portal. Yeah. Wasn't any NIL money, but I was in the portal.
So Hoppy spent 1 year at Shepherd, right near his hometown. Did you? Where'd you live when you were a freshman at Shepherd?
I lived at home. I commuted.
How far?
Like 8 miles, 9 miles.
Okay. And then they asked you to leave, or you decided to leave? Did you? What was it?
No, I wasn't asked to leave. I liked Shepherd. I liked it. But they didn't have a broadcast journalism program.
It took you a year to figure that out? You think maybe when you were a high school senior you might have asked that question?
Probably. Good point. But
so you had codified that you wanted to be a radio broadcaster.
well, no, it took. You don't want to get into all that, but I mean, it took a. Well, all right, I'll tell you the story. You want to know the story?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay. So, when was it? So I wanted to be a radio disc jockey. That's what I wanted to be. I've told you this story.
I never knew the disc jockey part.
Yeah. And so I was going to Shepherd, and I got a job at the local radio station,
WXVA,
WZFM, as a disc jockey. And I showed up there was a night shift, and I showed up I'm still in school, college, and I showed up for the first shift, and the guy handed me a manila folder, and had some phone numbers on there.
Yeah.
Police department, fire department, prosecuting attorney. I said, "What's this?" He says, "You're also the news director." I said, "Say what now?"
Excuse me?
Excuse me. And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You call them up and see if anything happened." So I said, "I'm not a news guy. I'm a disc jockey. What are you talking about?" But then I did it, my job, and then I got interested in it.
How about that?
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, didn't know that. And so I thought, this is interesting. Stuff happens, fires, pestilence, violence, court cases.
Give the pestilence.
And so I got interested, and I was already a student at Shepherd, but I thought, I want to be a broadcast journalist.
How about that?
And then I had a friend at WVU, and I came up and visited, and, rest is history.
Was Woody O'Hara working at that station at that time?
No, Woody worked previously at that station.
He had been there.
But Woody had already come to Morgantown.
So he was in Morgantown, probably.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I missed the fact that you didn't become a disc jockey, because I would certainly tune into those energetic and effervescent shows that you would host. Wouldn't you, Brad?
I think he would have been a fine disc jockey had he started that way.
Thank you.
He would have been a classic rock jock. His energy would have been like right down like, here's another one, man.
Did
Zeppelin.
your career shape your personality or vice versa?
Oh, that's a great question.
That's a good question. Oh. Well, I'll tell you this. My wife, who knows me better than anybody, I said one time to her, I said, I always thought I was fun-loving. And she said, how could you possibly think that? I think that the news found me.
Yeah.
I think I was suited for it, but Brad, things kind of find you.
Yep.
And I think that's what happened.
Like we often say, you never know where we're going to go on this show, but I didn't know that was great stuff there.
Didn't know that.
Didn't
know that was coming.
You can start rolling now.
Very
start
interesting.
taping.
Yeah, can we start the tape now? All right, so as I said, classes start Wednesday, which means something different than it used to mean, which means you don't necessarily, they've started, but you don't go, right?
What?
Well, I mean, online courses. What's that mean now? You walk out of your bedroom and now you put your feet on your coffee table and open your computer and take.
You go to class.
They really don't.
Who, the football players?
No, I'm just saying the student body as a whole. I ask kids all the time, well, how many classes you taking? 5? How many do you actually go into a room and they'll go 1?
Really?
Oh, yeah. 2. How do you think the football team practices every day at 10 a.m. during the semester?
I understand that.
That's because online classes.
Well, I'd rather be in class.
Well, yeah. Me too, with the situation I have with concentration.
Yeah. Yes.
As you guys attacked me before the show started today.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
But I remembered that. You guys say I never listened. I listened to that.
Right.
He remembered
that's right.
He did remember.
Right.
Right.
There are things I'll remember when I want to. Anyway.
Brad, did you enjoy the college experience?
Oh, I had a great time in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you were an athlete, so you
had a great time.
Yeah.
So Saturday passed, Mountaineers scrimmaged, afternoon scrimmage, right at the time that they'll kick it off against the Nittanies. Noon. Actually, it was 1 o'clock. But in that same range, and they went long. They went 100 plays. They went about 3 hours. I mean, it was late. It got on. And that's the last time that they will do that as far as the full scrimmage deal until they actually play a single game. So this week, they do what's called a mock game, but it's not really, it sounds a lot neater than it really is. All the mock game is we run out of the tunnel here, we line up for our warm up here, we'll go here, and then they pretend, okay, now it's halftime, now they do the whole thing. but then they just use the young guys on the team to actually do the workout and scrimmage and stuff like that. It plays. And so that's the last time. So those that accorded themselves well in the first 2 scrimmages, now they've pared that list down. Now they know who their 1s, their 2s, and their 3s are. And they also know the guys that need more development, which are now going to be put into the developmental group. The developmental group works out a completely different way than the regulars. So the developmental guys continue to do a lot of weightlifting and a lot of skill development and all those kinds of things. And they still go to practice and they do that, but they're doing other things where the guys that are going to be in there playing on Saturdays are getting themselves tweaked up there.
You know, Brad, Neil Brown talked about the importance of that, because at some point you got to have a list. And you got to have, you know who your 1s are, you know probably who your 2s are, but you got to have the way he phrases it, who can you count on?
I think they'll have a good idea now. I think for the most part they've got that down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? As much as you can during practice. Now it's going to depend on game time and who wants to make plays when the games come.
I think the key word now is trust. When they go back and watch that tape, can we trust this player in the game against Penn State, against a team? Can we trust him? Or is he going to just go totally on his own little wavelength and blow a coverage, and all of a sudden you have a missed assignment and there's celebration for the other team?
Mm-hmm.
Those guys have all been weeded out now. Can't trust them. Can't trust this guy. Can't trust this guy. I'm sorry. They're going to get there, but not yet. We can trust this guy and this guy and this guy, and that's who we're going to now tweak and get them ready to go. Yeah. You wait for guys to establish themselves. And so I think when you're watching a scrimmage, you wait for a play to happen. And I watched the scrimmage Saturday among a group of guys. One of them was former Mountaineer great Andre Johnson. And so 3rd leading rusher all time when he left here at WVU. So he knows, right? He sees things. He'll just go like, okay. So his who's that was Day Farmer.
Mm-hmm.
His who's that was Day Farmer. He's like, Tony, who's that? I said, he's one of your guys. I say, he's a Florida guy. Melbourne, Florida. He zigzags. He just has something that is so lightning-like and natural in evading people. You can't coach it.
Got a little Tavon in him?
Yeah. I mean, again, put it all into context. Don't go running out there and extra read all about it. But he's got that inherent twitch, that shoulder quickness, that spin. Now, he's light. He's light, 160 pounds-ish. And so
And young. So I think we always have to remember that, right? We did this last year with Rodney Gallagher coming in and Traylon Ray coming in, and eventually Hudson Clement coming in, that the numbers that you put up as a freshman are going to be down from what you expect them to be. You're looking for moments within there, right? And I think that's what we were able to do last year with all those guys I just mentioned. There were enough moments that you went, okay, just wait till those guys grow up a little bit and get into this year. That's with Farmer now mixed into a group with a lot more veterans.
Yes.
So that's part of why we keep saying there should be some weapons here. There should be a lot of playmakers here. The guys last year that we know about mixed in with a Day Farmer or so.
Yeah, so, in a perfect world, the couple, 2-3 times a game, he gets the ball in his hands and does a little twitchy. That'd be all right if he could do that 2 or 3 times a game. Again, he's not going to be the guy you're going to pump the ball to, because there are certain things that they can't do with him out there, right? Like, he's not going to go downfield and necessarily be an outstanding blocker just yet, so that takes away a lot of what you can do when he's on the field.
But that's the depth, though, that we keep talking about, right? Is this program seems to have gotten the ship righted from all the chaos of the transfer portal. Neil Brown and company seem to understand the mechanics of that, right? And their scouting seems to be right in line, and they've got the NIL piece. And now just take that slot position with a Gallagher and Farmer, where 2 or 3 years ago you were looking for a playmaker. Now that's one specific position where you feel like you got 2 twitchy, really athletic dudes, right? Never mind the outside receiver. Never mind the running back position. Never mind the quarterback position. You start to go down that list, and there's multiple playmakers at each of those spots, I think.
All right. Yes.
Neil said after the scrimmage on Saturday, to no surprise to us because we were first on this, Pac-Man Fox has just had a fantastic camp. Like every time they've gone out there, whether it's practice drills or whether in these scrimmage situations, like at some point, he's just going to go make catches, makes hard catches. He makes those catches where that ball's coming in about 77 miles an hour, like about right here, and he finds a way, covered, and he finds a way to bring that ball down. So he's had a really good one.
And in that fun, that's part of the fun speculation, I think, this time of year is, so take a guy like Fox is, who will the defense kind of forget about receiver-wise, right? You're going to try and take somebody away. Who emerges is that guy the defense has to take away, and then you're left with 3 or 4 different guys that you feel like can still make plays that kind of are under the radar, right? Preston Fox seems like a guy that should be able to make some plays, should get open quite a bit this year. He'll be fun to watch.
Hudson Clement from out your neck of the woods, out in that panhandle, he's solidified himself not only as obviously a huge target, but also as the kick return dude. And that will be obviously something that's a key component of every season. But to have a guy back there, provided you get a doggone opportunity. I mean, how many weeks do we just sit there and go like this? Here's the kick. And they'll take it out to the 25-yard line. I mean, if you just get some opportunities, I think he could be really good.
Yeah, how many return opportunities were there last year? I'm looking real quick.
Not a ton.
Okay. What do you think the number is? Sitting an over-under, but go ahead and guess on the number of returns using PFF as the number here.
Less than 20.
Wait a minute.
The number of total kickoff returns by WVU. Tony's in the house at under 20.
You're saying under 20? Let me think a second. 22.
He's taking plus 20 is what he's doing.
Yeah, I'll take plus 20.
Under 20.
So you played the Price is Right, like Price is Right. You went over.
I went over
in order to see if you were closer. You're both right around it. 19. Good call by you.
Not many. Think about that, folks. 19 times the entire season. You practice your backside off every day in some form to get ready for kick return. 19 chances the entire season. So hopefully you get more.
How many punt returns do you think there were?
Oh, goodness.
Returns?
Returns.
Not fair catches.
No.
Right?
Fair catches count in the return number I'm going to give you.
Fair catches count.
Oh, fair catches count? Fair catches, like a fair catch counts?
No, sorry. It's just returns.
Just returns.
Yep.
So you play 13 games. I say 2 a game. I'd say just a little bit under 24.
Well, you're doing good with numbers. Hoppy?
21.
Yeah, 22. 20 fair catches.
Don't bait me on my numbers. You know it. I establish lines, and you just run around sniffing.
Well, you went first. If you hadn't gone first, I'd have said a number, but you jumped in there.
Yeah, again.
Did Beanie have 2 last year, though? I only remember the one in the bowl game that he took to the house.
I think he had 2.
Did he have another one in there?
In the bowl game, he had 2.
Oh, did he have 2 in the bowl game?
Yeah, I think he had 2 returns in the bowl game. Yes.
Yeah, so 22.
Yeah. Speaking of Beanie, plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers football club now. How about our guy, Zach Frazier? Injury to the competitor that Zach had in front of him, and got a shoulder situation. So, Zach, welcome to professional football. You're the starting center for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow. Well, you knew he was going to at some point, right? I mean, we know Zach Frazier.
What's
so
funny?
At some point.
Yeah, what's funny is
just a little sooner maybe than some thought. Maybe.
Everything you hear from his teammates about him is exactly what was being said.
Yeah.
Right?
Like Russell Wilson said some positive things.
Fields says like he knows that he calls coverage, he calls changes fronts before I do. Right? So it's like, okay, that's working. All right. So
real quick, guys, looking up his numbers. He had an 82 pass block grade from the game Saturday.
Very good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Tomlin's beautiful too, because like I said last week, how they talk about him. Like Frazier did some good things, some things we need to work on. So pro, right? It's just like It's so what it is. All right. So with all of that being said, now you begin to focus. This week, Thursday, starts the preparation for Penn State. And there's coming up a little bit later on in our texts, we'll get into it, but what the anticipation level is for this game. First visit since 1992 by the Nittany Lions. So think about that, man. It's been like
32 years.
plus years, right? 32 years since they've been here. And what will that be like? Everyone knows that when it's a true night game, there's just this like buzz of electricity. Can you get that at noon?
Yes.
I think so too.
Yes.
I think so too. And I think if one other thing happens between now and game day, it'll take it up to another level.
What, excuse me.
Do you have a specific one thing in mind?
What?
If West Virginia's fans hear something out of the Penn State camp in preparation for this game, that'll just kind of like just a little bit of little lighter fluid onto the flame. Like the flame's already like, it's a nice little flame. But if James Franklin goes up there and says something next week during his prep conference for this game that is construed in any way, shape, or form as being disrespectful or condescending or anything, then the Flyers going to go like blazing fire.
Or even if it could possibly be construed. You
Right.
say what?
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna leave early to come down here? Why? You don't think?
So it's going to be like one of these, like if someone gets planted into the crowd there at his press conference and gives like, Coach, last year against West Virginia had the game in hand and you scored that late touchdown, like one of those things. And he gives like some kind of a, like a little short answer or something like that, and people go. Then I think people come down the interstate, right, with their torches on, like a march.
Then I agree with Brad. I think the crowd will be really into it. So Brad, when the crowd is there and the crowd is into it and the game started, what do you need from the Mountaineers?
Start fast to be nice. Start fast to be nice. Give them something to go bonkers about. I do think, guys, that week you're going to feel it. I think it's going to start early. Monday is Tuesday. It's going to start going next week. And then it's going to ramp. And by the time we get to Friday, if you go by where the food court's going to be out there, there will be already traffic lined up most of the day Friday going by there.
Well, I think
this is bonkers. Remember, that game against Virginia Tech a couple of years ago was a noon start.
Yes.
That was chaos and loud. And that wasn't even the first game of the season. I think that ramps it up even more. And you add in a West Virginia team with expectations around it. People are excited about this team and the program where it's headed. I think it will be absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, good setup, right? I mean, you're in Morgantown and you're being told that you can't win. Mm-hmm. You're being told you're an underdog by as many as 10 points.
Double-digit underdog.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, like, it's that perfect, setup.
Home dog.
So we'll see. We'll see how that. By the way, I mean, such a big game. Our food court, instead of opening on a Friday, is going to open up on Wednesday.
Is that confirmed yet, or are you out over your skis?
I'm confirming it. So game's 31, 30, 29. So we're starting on the 28th, Wednesday. Food court will open up.
That's how big the week's going to be.
That's how big it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get in the 24 hours isn't long enough to get the brisket. We're just going to go. More on that coming up a little bit later on. Keep this in mind.
Rev Kev will stay up for 3 days.
Spent time with him this weekend.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Brisket isn't the only thing you'll be able to get over there.
Oh, no. Hoppy's new beer. Did I say that? Did I say that? The new beer's debuting? Did I say that?
Edit that out. That's not official.
Don't edit it. Just roll with it.
Hit delay.
It's live. Hey, just keep this in mind. The roar of the Mountaineers is almost upon us. And to celebrate the return, Gomart WVU giving away the ultimate fan experience. Special prize package includes you walking the man trip with the world champion Mountaineers, getting exclusive game day tickets and limited edition Gomart and WVU apparel. It's your chance to be part of the Mountaineers, but registration stops 23 August, which is this week. To enter, go to download the Gomart app. Download the Gomart app or visit gomart.com. Sign up for the Mountaineer Man Trip, and the winner's going to be announced. The winners for each game are going to be announced 29th of August.
Yeah, that will be fun for somebody.
Yeah.
We're doing that every game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every game. Someone gets to go do this thing.
By the way, still a deal on Slim Jims at Gomart.
What do you mean by that?
Why did you?
2 for $6.
They got 2 for $6?
Good deal on Twix and
rod?
Snickers, too.
A fly rod?
Yeah. Twix and Snickers, 2 for $4.
That's good. That's a good price.
Interesting.
So I check the numbers.
Gomart app tells
We'll
you.
just go right to the numbers. Here comes a heater. Let's jump into the...
Let's do a little spreads on stats right now. Still to come, Textual Healing.
Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2.
Spreads on stats. provided to us by the Conley CPA Group. Value beyond the numbers. So much more. Complete public service accounting and consulting throughout the West Virginia area and surrounding states. 40-year anniversary coming up, 25th. Boy, everyone's having an anniversary. Hoppy's 50th coming up in 2025. Conley CPA, their 40th year. Whether you want to outsource your entire accounting of your business operation or just supplement the folks that do it inside your business, they can do that. They'll provide all that kind of support. Frees up your time to run the deal. Let them do it. Take the stress out associated with hiring a qualified accounting staff. Deal with turnover. Who needs that? Go to Conley CPA Group. They can also give you a CFO. Provide that as well. Just in. Easy. What do you got this week? By the way,
yeah.
Should we use a breaking news thing?
Okay.
Didn't we break some news last week regarding Garrett Green?
I think it was first reported.
Oh, it's the first.
Is that what you news people say?
As first reported here, yes.
Yeah, first reported. I like that.
Before Thamel?
Who?
Before everybody. I said first reported it.
Okay.
What'd I say last week? What'd I say about Garrett Green?
This is breaking. Go ahead.
Well, I said he should be getting some more Heisman love.
Yes,
it's outrageous that he's not.
Right.
When you look at the numbers, I said, so I'm going to get blasted for this, but let's start the Heisman campaign for Garrett Green.
Sure.
Should be getting some love.
Yes.
Just last show.
Yes. I
Right?
remember.
Just last show.
Yes, you did.
Well, our friends at Pro Football Focus seem to agree with the assessment. Would you look at that? That's a top 10 Heisman candidates list from PFF College, Hoppy.
Yeah.
I know the writing's kind of small there, but the logo's always recognizable. Can you go down there to the list and who's that? Who's that there on that
I
list?
believe that's Garrett Green there.
Huh?
G squared.
Garrett Green on that list.
Heisman candidate.
Yeah.
Even though DraftKings right now has him 56th in the Heisman odds.
His boy Jackson Dart's number 4 on that list. He spent time with Jackson Dart this summer down at the Manning camp.
Garrett.
He says he is a great dude.
Really?
Says he's a great dude.
Ole Miss getting a lot of love.
Well, yeah. They'll throw it a little bit. They'll throw a bit.
He's the 4th lowest odds at DraftKings. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Coming in the lowest odds for a Big 12 quarterback, Avery Johnson at Kansas State. Highly touted. Hasn't played a ton of snaps.
I thought they already gave the Heisman to Will Thompson.
No, Will Howard.
Will Howard, I mean.
Yeah, Will Howard, who
Didn't he get the Heisman
who
already?
might not have started this year because of Avery Johnson, but he transfers to Ohio State, gets a
Ohio
nice
State.
chunk of money. He's 6th right now. So I found that interesting. Garrett, 10th. Pro Football Focus. See, I told you they love the Mountaineers.
He's our guy.
Pro Football Focus is only one of the few I've seen that has West Virginia ranked, too. They have him 25th in their poll. Some more Garrett numbers.
Yes.
He led the country last year, highest among all Power 5 quarterbacks in average depth of target, 13.5 yards. Talked about his ability to throw the ball downfield and how much they like to throw the ball downfield. 13.5 yards, average depth of target. Hoppy. Led the nation in avoiding sacks as well. Also not a surprise, right? Really good offensive line up front. When he saw pressure, got around it. Heisman campaign started officially last Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Picking up steam.
I'm with you.
Plus, very
Picking
good.
up steam? Is that fair?
Yes. Well, you know what you want? We talk about this a lot. Is you want opportunities, and the Penn State game's an opportunity. A noon kick. You're not favored. 10, 12 points, whatever it's going to be. But if you do win, you're going to be a story. Garrett Green threw for 350 yards, and the Mountaineers upset Penn State by a final of 34-26, 27. You'll be part of the national narrative that day.
You're right. Super challenging game, obviously. They're bringing back a ton of defensive guys again. Offense talent, Aller, those running backs. I mean, they're loaded again. There's a reason they're a top 8 by almost every metric, top 9 certainly. But, boy, you do have an opportunity there. With the nation watching,
there is no
heck of an opportunity.
There is no better game to win or to play than when you're at home in a noon game on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You become the story all day long, all night long,
Yes.
and then it creeps into the next day. So as far as program opportunity and what it could mean to the program and the program's brand, you couldn't script this any better.
the stakes are high. Like you're not expected to win, but as you say, if you win, it's a big story. If you lose, it's not a big surprise, but now you still have pressure there because you lost the game, and then you have Pitt in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what's interesting to think about the narratives there. A West Virginia win will cause some massive overreaction in the marketplace, won't it?
Yes.
I mean, they'll be screaming for James Franklin's jobs. They'll be going bananas. Garrett probably will become a legitimate Heisman candidate because if West Virginia wins, he will have gone bananas. Same with some of those other offensive skill guys. Yeah, a West Virginia loss but plays well isn't a death knell for the season. It still sets you up. But it's one of those where you do have a golden opportunity if you can catch some breaks and go in there and pull one off.
Mm-hmm.
Challenge, super big challenge.
Super fun.
Some other numbers around some certain players.
Yeah.
Tackle Wyatt Milam, Pro Football Focus, loving on him, has him as a top 5 offensive tackle, of course, entering the 2024 season. He was second last year among FBS tackles in pass blocking grade on true pass sets. So there's a reason why he's getting some first-round love as we head into this season. Wyatt Milam, not a surprise there. Aubrey Burks talked about what an off-season retention piece he was, how great that was for this staff to be able to hold on to Aubrey Burks, for him to come back to WVU. He has the second-best overall coverage grade per PFF among returning Power 5 safeties over the last 2 seasons, or Power 4 safeties now. Pretty good, Hop.
Yeah.
Second best overall coverage grade over the last 2 seasons. Pro Football Focus has him rated as a top 10 safety in college football. And then go to Jaheim White, 14th best run grade nationally last season. How about that?
Yeah.
For a true freshman. 14th best run grade nationally. That's among players with at least 100 snaps. That was second in the Big 12 last year. It's second in the Big 12 this year as far as returning guys. Taj Brooks was number 1. Obviously had a great season, almost 1,500 yards rushing, but Jaheim right in that company as well. So a chance for him to make a giant statement coming up next Saturday as well.
2 new coordinators at Penn State this year, one familiar to the WVU staff. Kansas's OC moves to Penn State. Advantage for Jordan Leslie and the rest of that staff having had deal with him before?
It's a great question, and we'll spend a lot of time on this next week because I think this is fascinating. Penn State coming in with 2 new coordinators, defensive coordinators Tom Allen, Indiana head coach for a while. But Andy Kotelnicki coming in on the offensive side changes things a lot. You're right. You've got some tape on what that offense wanted to do, but what he did with Jalen Daniels and Bean at Kansas isn't exactly the same type of quarterback as Drew Aller. But here's one point to talk about. Now, is this summer misdirection? Is this legit? But there's some talk that they want Aller to run the ball a little bit more. Now, certainly he's not going to turn into a running quarterback, but remember that was part of the criticism of Aller last year, that it was just drop back, you knew where he was, and you could come get him a little bit. Does Kotelnicki run him enough just to keep you off balance? That's where he was so good at Kansas, much like West Virginia last year. All that motion and movement makes it really difficult to know what's coming. Then you put those pieces in there, and with their great running backs, they're still going to have a good offensive line, although they're replacing some full-time starters. I'm fascinated to watch what this offense looks like with Andy Kotelnicki coming in, because I think that could be a huge boost to Penn State here.
They say, they being Penn State, feel totally comfortable, story today as a matter of fact, totally comfortable with 8-man rotation on their offensive line. So we got 2 tackles, we got 2 guard, we got extra guard, extra center, extra tackle. We got 8 guys.
A lot like West Virginia. They have guys that didn't necessarily start last year, but played a ton of snaps. They feel like they can just plug and play with some guys up front. Mm-hmm. But I just think, what do they want to do play calling, and how much do they not only want to unveil, but are able to unveil in week 1 with him? Right? That was a group last year that didn't feel it needed to unveil a ton of things to get West Virginia last year and played it pretty vanilla. They do that again. They try and show some stuff. They want to try and work on some stuff. How out of sync are they? Are they out of sync at all? Do they rely more on that running game that West Virginia did a pretty good job at stopping last year, slowing down at least? Mm-hmm. Hard to stop those 2 guys. Mm-hmm. But they threw it a lot last year, 300-plus for Aller throwing the football. How does that change? I think that's part of the equation that comes into this, is some of the criticisms that Penn State offense got last year. I don't know that those still exist, given the creativity that's going to come with this offense this year.
Haven't checked this out yet or not. Not sure how Penn State's getting to Morgantown. I'll look into it later this week. Possibility they could boat down. And if they do, they'll come in from Lou Wendell Marine Sales. They'll provide the transportation. Lou Wendell Marine Sales not only premier pontoon boat dealer. I mean, the number one pontoon boat dealer. You know, we talk about PFF rankings and things like that this time of year, like who's why.
They're the number one grade.
Well, I do know this. I mean, all kidding aside, they're the number one pontoon boat dealer in the state of West Virginia. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, they also have those G3 Johns. Ooh, Gator Tough John series, durability, dependability, and value. You can fish off those bad boys all day long. There's a Three Guys listener, probably, fishing off that G3 right now. And fishing, getting you where you want to go. Those are nice. I like those.
You hunt off the front of that too?
You can do whatever you want out there. I mean, look at it. Got a good angle. He's getting a hip stretch and catching a smallmouth all at the same time.
Now, you haven't confirmed that about the Penn State team, of course.
We're looking into that.
Into it.
I think someone told me that. Check him out at LouWendellMarineSales.com. That's LouWendellMarineSales.com. Speaking of water hopping, I was listening to your show earlier today.
Yes.
Holy hell.
Tug fork?
13,000 tires? Are you kidding me?
The Tug Fork,
Brett took 13,000 tires out of the river.
Excuse me?
The Tug Fork River is in southern West Virginia. It starts in the Appalachians and then goes northwest and empties, I think, into the Big Sandy, but it's along the West Virginia border, West Virginia-Kentucky border. And for years, it was a dumping ground for tires, for old tires. And the Tug Fork, Friends of the Tug Fork get together every year, and they go in and they pull the old tires out of the river. And they did it again last week, and they got on a couple hundred tires out. And they have, since they've been doing it, I don't know how many years, they've pulled 13,000 tires out of the Tug Fork River. 13,000 tires.
Can I ask a question?
Can we stop dumping them in there? Why are they dumping them in there?
Can I ask a question? What was the genesis? Like, who had the brainstorm one day and go, like, let's put tires in the river? Like, what was the genesis? Can't you? Do they need to go? Like,
look,
how's that work?
I mean, sadly, look, Tony, you've been in West Virginia long enough. You've traveled enough to know that there was a time, and still is in some places, where people just dump stuff over the side of the hill. Old cars, wash machines, refrigerators, trash.
You'll reprogram, right?
Tires.
Yeah.
So I guess we could find out what the genesis was of that. But the point is that
leave them on the ground. I mean,
that community has, and some of them may have washed in there from floods and those kinds of things. Okay. But that community has pulled together and does a good job on that.
All right. Good deal.
Thanks for listening to my
public
affairs program.
Try to listen as much as I can, Hoppy. You delight me. You make me smile because I know you so well. You make me smile.
That's it.
You know he does a show, Brad. More 10 to 2.
By the way, was I done with the number segment there? We just kind of moved on.
Oh, you have more?
Well, no, I'll save it. We got another show this week. We just kind of moved on to
tires.
Stats on spreads. Brought to you by the Conley CPA Group.
Over under on tires out of the Tug Fork River.
I had plus 12,000.
Brad was going to, because Brad didn't know. Brad was going to say like 60. You know, I mean.
Spreads on stats brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. Episode 800 is the sponsor of Textual Healing. That's where we get we sell all of our stuff. Each of us are today wearing some of the newest merch off of episode800.com. You can see the little logo there. That's the secondary logo that we have.
I think your two are two that are available.
Are they?
Right? Tony's definitely is available at episode800.com.
Outstanding. Check it out at episode800.com. We start off Textual Healing today with Derek in Oregon. That's way up there. I was listening to you guys jacking around while reading the sponsor copy a couple of episodes ago, and it made me realize that this is the only podcast of all the podcasts that I listen to that I don't automatically skip the ads while listening. On other shows, it's easy to skip because they cut away to pre-recorded ads, but since Tony actually reads the copy live and you all buffoon around while doing it, I listen just not to miss any jokes. I thought I'd mention it because you guys should be charging a premium for advertising that actually makes the listener pay attention.
Amen, brother.
There we go.
I've never bought a pontoon boat, but after a couple of years, I sure know a lot about Lou Wendell. And I don't have any need for one more phone line, but I sure know who I'd call if I did. Anyway, I don't know if I'm a representative sample, but I thought I'd let you know for the next time you're negotiating advertising rights, start by Derek in Oregon.
Thank you, Derek.
Appreciate that.
Save that, please.
Well,
That should probably be passed along.
Yes.
as we celebrate, that might be this week, our 7th anniversary of our first episode. Really super quick. When we didn't have any sponsors when we started 7 years ago, I said I want to do a test. And I said, okay, if you go to Daniel's men's store and tell him that you're a Three Guys listener, he'll give you 20% off of what you buy. And we introduced these folks to Fine Look and Phil. And immediately we go back after a week or so and he said, Phil, anybody coming in there saying they're listening to Three? He goes, dude, it's crazy. So that's how this started, right? So, yeah, there's absolutely no question that these advertisements that we do use move the needle tremendously. By the way, talked to Phil this weekend. You know he's got Peter Millar women's clothes?
First I've heard of this.
Really?
Yeah, it's carrying carrying some of these in women's sizes.
Okay.
So here's the deal. If I could have a word with our Three Guys male listeners right now. If you've done something to cause disharmony in your relationship with your significant other, and she's a Mountaineer fan, then go to Fine Looking Phil's and say, hey, Phil, you got any of those women's Peter Millar? That'll take care of it.
Well, hold on.
Who needs counseling?
You don't
when
have
you've
to
got
have
Phil?
caused something that create disharmony. Just do it to be nice.
I was going to say the same
if
thing,
you have a significant other that's female, just go in and get one.
Well, you could do that too.
Well, I mean, I think we just lead with that. I
I
don't know why
agree.
he led with disharmony.
Well, I mean, obviously there's some disharmony he's trying to sort through, but I agree. Like, I love my wife. I'm going to get this for her.
look, honey, I was in here. I saw this nice West Virginia shirt. I thought you might like one
it.
as well, so I got us each one. Is that right, though? He's got them, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll stock those on my Tuesday shift coming up.
I didn't know he had them.
See this.
I had a young lady that I know, Julie.
Didn't have those last week when I was there.
Well, you can help the people as
Fold
they come
some,
in.
maybe dress a mannequin or two.
Do you go every Tuesday?
Try to.
Texas says, I was concerned.
I pick up extra shifts where I can. It gets busy this time of year, Hop, but
I
I
understand.
pick up those shifts
Good
where I
heavy
can.
there.
I was concerned after our success last year that we'd be overconfident this year and not have that same chip or edge. But here we are again. No respect. 6 wins when we had 9 last year. With all we got back, no player ranked in ESPN's top 100, no players on ESPN's first or second team, picked no higher than the middle of the pack in the league, not considered a contender for the league title, and at best a dark horse. I love that we are going to be a home dogs to start the season. I'm guessing the Lakota were 10-point home dogs at Little Bighorn. All they talked about was Custer and his past success and flair. Ended with Custer taking a dirt nap. I'm guessing the game on August 31st will end with people calling for Franklin's job. Boom. Eddie from Columbus, Ohio writes, I was born in Parkersburg.
Just go out and take care of business.
Huh?
That's it. I mean, I think Neil's right when he talks about all that, the underrating that's going on right now. But at the end of the day, you go out and you win this year.
Takes
and
care
you
of
put up
itself.
numbers again. That stuff's going to take care of itself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't need to pay attention to ESPN at this point. Just come here, listen. We'll tell you about. You want to hear about Garrett Green? We'll tell you about Garrett Green.
I was
Don't
born
need
in
to wait for somebody at ESPN to talk about Garrett Green. We'll handle it.
Right.
We'll handle it.
Yeah, we got it. It's here. We got it.
Eddie in Columbus. I was born in Parkersburg, but I lived in Ohio for the majority of my life. However, most of my family is from or still resides in West Virginia. My loyalty has always remained Mountaineer. My wife is from Central Ohio, and her entire family is diehard Buckeyes. Our daughter, although early on was a 50-50 fan of both schools, she even chose her 8th grade volleyball jersey to be number 29 after the great Pac-Man Fox.
Well done.
Most days she wears West Virginia gear to school. Her Ohio State-loving classmates try to shame her. That's only made her stronger. If this isn't a sign of a true Mountaineer, I don't know what is.
That Ohio State story is fascinating because of the amount of money that they have put into NIL, the amount of money they're paying Will Howard, and the fact, Brad, that for Ryan Day, you got 2 options this year: win the national championship, or be an absolute failure.
Well, yeah. And you better figure out a way to beat Michigan, who most certainly will be coming back to the pack this year. You got to figure that out. But the way that payroll they've reportedly put out there, yeah, it's national championship or bust over there.
Texter is texting this question while I'm listening to your last episode. Question on the BTT stat, right? Big time throw. If a receiver makes a great catch downfield, not a bad throw, but a better catch, does that count as BTT?
Yeah, it's a good question. Based on their definition, it could. It could. Now, if it's a high throw and a total circus catch, that probably doesn't count because that'd be the reception. But if the throw's on the mark as defined, then yeah, it probably would.
Wendell from Randolph County.
Hello!
On the over-unders from part 2, I'll take the over on BTT for Garrett because of his experienced receiving core. I'll take the over on receiving touchdowns for Taylor because of the increased trust and the fact that he was hampered last year wearing a brace. I'll take the unders on pass breakups because the league is more of a running league. Can't wait for the season to start. Texter says, can you please provide some details regarding the upcoming food court for the Penn State game, the location, the hours, the vendors, etc.? Thanks. Well, the plan right now as of this moment is that we will do the food court every single home game, to which there's 7. So last year, we just debuted it, put our toe in the water. We did it twice, and it was a smashing success.
Yeah. We did have a great time.
Great time.
Great
so
time.
this year,
Thank you to everybody that came.
Yeah.
This year, the plan is to do 7 times, and starting on Wednesday, most weeks it's going to be Friday, Saturday. But Albany's Friday, Saturday. But Penn
Saturday
State
morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Saturday, yeah. And then for Penn State, we're doing it Wednesday. And
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Sorry.
correct, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then we're going to have different types of food. So we're going to debut a new beer on the 28th. And it'll be our second beer that we've done. The first one was tremendous.
Award-winning, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
Very
All you had to do is all you got to do is take a look at that app, and it blowed up.
Very popular. Hard to find.
This
So
one,
popular.
we'll talk more about that. We'll talk about, but it's going to debut Parkersburg Brewing. The some say the oldest brewery in the state of West Virginia, like 2,000 years old. Might be
give or take.
Give or take a decade or a century.
They used to make mead.
Yeah, exactly. So
The
they'll
monks.
so we'll have the beer, we'll have sweet treats, we'll have the bar. I want to show you the barbecue. Okay, so I visited this weekend Rev Kev's new barbecue trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to show you a couple things. Austin, if you could roll through some of those montage of photos that I sent you on the picture. So that's the trailer. They made it up here, and that was Friday when they were giving it the test. I went inside of that thing. So that's a little bit of Rev Kev, not his whole head, but you could see inside that thing all the warming stuff.
Beautiful.
They got a full grill in there. Boom. Hit it again. So grill, got a fryer in there making tater tots that you can order. And it's just fantastic, right?
Man.
It's just like,
And
it's
on
all
the tots,
there's a grill. You can do tots, you can do mac and cheese. So that's what that's going to be. Then, can you show a picture of the brisket? So then he did a test. There's a chicken. The chicken was really good. He turns that in, those are thighs, and he pulls the skin and they pull it, and the chicken's awesome. And then he did the brisket. And that was a little brisket in there. Okay. So if you remember when Ren Baker was in here, I don't know if he said it on the air or off the air. He said, big brisket guy. I was in Texas. He knows brisket.
Yes.
So I said, I got brisket. He goes, I haven't had any good.
He was looking for good brisket.
He said, I've not had a good brisket since I've been to West Virginia. I said, I got it. He goes, don't stop. I said, no, I'm putting my name on this.
Yeah.
So Rev Kev made me a brisket Saturday. I picked it up at noon. Kept it warm till the scrimmage was over. And then I brought the brisket over to football and brought it to the training table where the director sampled the brisket. Can you run that video here a little bit? You can hear this.
It has more fat on it. Like,
I stopped in Mission Barbecue.
I assume the audio's on. I can't hear myself. Just pretend it is.
Tell you what,
I mean, look at this right here.
there goes it.
I mean, that's juicy right there.
This is the moment we've been waiting for.
Man. I mean,
Right?
why is Revka, like, he needs to stop the ministry and start a new ministry? Like, you've been winning more lives to Jesus right here.
So basically, he said, we can't hear it here, but
All right, here we go. We got to go for 2 for 2.
He said, Kev
That's good stuff.
needs to get out of the
Moist.
ministry and just do this
Unlike
full
most
time.
briskets.
Thinks he can win more hearts to the Lord through the brisket.
Brisket's a
Right?
strong play.
Right? And then I fed some to Jordan Leslie, who also he was here, right?
Yeah.
Huge
Big food guy.
Huge food guy. He absolutely loved it. And I felt sorry for some of the staff members because as soon as the word got out that the brisket was back there, they came in.
Was it gone?
Matt Moore came in.
I saw
Shadon
Matt right
Brown
there
came
eating
in.
it. Yep.
Victor came in. Right. And then a poor Bilal Marshall. It was dusted.
Nobody saved anything
It
for
was
him?
dusted by the
Coach
time
Marshall didn't get any.
dusted by the time he got there.
We're not, I mean, we say things, and lots of times we're joking, but when we say
This is not a joke.
this is the best brisket you'll ever have,
Yes.
and then
It is good.
it's outstanding.
So that'll be on display. Kevin will be cooking at every one of the games. Get it. Texter.
What more details on that too?
Yeah, we'll do better.
Because you can pre-order that and be able to pick it up, and there's some stuff that goes with
Yeah.
that.
If you want to, you could buy a whole pan. You just say, I want a brisket. You can pre-order during the week. Go to the trailer, pick it up, take it to your tailgate.
And folks came over last year, picked some up, took it back to their tailgates.
Yeah.
And you said, because I had a brisket situation this weekend, but that he gets the prime, not the choice.
That's prime. That's all prime that he's cooking with.
Okay.
It's all prime, yeah. Hey, guys, it's Levi from Lincoln County. I took a trip over the weekend down the Smokies to go to Dollywood and the Dixie Stampede. Absolutely amazing food, by the way. The chicken was elite. But I was truly able to see the West Virginia connection. Mountaineers very well represented in Tennessee, especially at Dollywood.
Of course they were.
Seemed like everywhere you turned, someone was wearing a flying WV.
Mm-hmm.
That gets you thinking. I was at the WVU Tennessee game in Charlotte, and it was so cool to be able to see both schools with such tradition. If West Virginia were to have gone into the SEC instead of Missouri, I feel like that would have been such a fitting rivalry, Rocky Top versus Country Roads. Love the show. Listen every week on my way to work. Thank you very much. Texter, did Hoppy know about this? Oh, my.
What is that?
Pete Thamel released a tweet last week that shows that the WWE will prepare and will forge a Big 12 championship belt. They're doing some select belts for big-time schools. And for West Virginia. WVU is one of the schools, and you can see there Georgia and all the big boys are in there. And WVU has been designated as one of the majors, and so they'll have your own WWE WVU belt.
Cool. Yeah, Pete Tham will beat me on that too. So
yeah. This texter asks, can we start a tradition of playing Charles Wesley Godwin's Q Country Roads at the end of the third quarter? I got out of that business a long time ago. I stopped even making them. That's what chased Brad out of the athletic department office, right?
Yep.
Those are the kind of suggestions. So we don't do that. We do food. We cause our own problems. Yeah. Texter says, Hoppy has a hanky in his pocket, but he just brushed off selling a koozie to the hard blue-collar workers of West Virginia is an all-time come on, man. I can't believe he would insult us beer-drinking, koozie-loving state. It's true, Hoppy. I don't know. You carry a hanky, but you did not advocate for the koozies.
I don't see the connection.
He thinks that a koozie is a part of West Virginia culture. Just like the hanky.
I'll try to be open to that. I hadn't thought about that. I mean, I thought the West Virginia thing was the beer in your hand doesn't even stay there long enough to
get warm,
to require it to keep cold. That's gone
possible.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's possible. This next text was pretty wild. It shows you the global influence that Three Guys has. Received this. I stopped by your little diner in Edinburgh, Scotland, while out for lunch today, but they did not have any pepperoni rolls. See that? I send people to that restaurant in Edinburgh, Scotland.
How do you know about that?
As I went there.
When
I
were
went
you there?
I went a couple, 3 years ago to Scotland, Ireland.
That's that Devil's Advocate?
Yeah. Put that picture back up, please. So that's the Devil's Advocate. And unbelievable lamb there, as you might imagine. He said, this gentleman right here says, I have followed the Mountaineers through Air Force flying, through his career as an Air Force pilot. Hoppy, he flew F-16s, and now he flies FedEx Corporate. Love your show. I'll be in Morgantown 31st. So then I asked him, I said, so what's your route? What is your route on your FedEx? I thought the guy was like a cargo
Did you
pilot.
tell him you're an aviation nerd?
Yes, I did.
You love that?
I said, I'm a plane geek.
Yeah.
I said, what's your route? He goes, no. He says, I fly all over the world FedEx Corporate for our corporate people. And then that's the bad boy he flies. So I looked that up. That's a Global Express 6000. That has a flight range, Hoppy, of over 7,000 miles. And I said, but since I am a geek, I looked up the price too.
Let me get, okay. I have no idea. I'm going to say over 15 million.
You're exactly on top of it. Plus 40 million. Bad boy goes for 65 million American dollars.
Can you ask if we can get that to go to Summer League next year? Been looking for a plane to get us out there. Probably do the job.
He said in his text that there have been a couple of times that he has flown FedEx folks to WVU games. He said, I took myself and said, okay, fine, I'll fly you guys there. And so that's what he does.
How much?
65 million for that for the Global 6000.
So,
Global Express 6000.
So 3 guys probably not. Probably not going to get one of those.
Probably not in that one.
Efforting.
I tell you what, that'd get us down to Myrtle Beach for that Merle's Inlet show pretty quick.
Put those damn koozies up on the side. We're well on our way.
How many koozies do we have to sell?
I think so. Texter. Over under 2.5 on the number of plays in the Albany game where a third string or lower running back is in the slot. Michael from Austin.
Big joke. Running back being in the slot, going to throw the ball to the running back more, comes up every single spring.
Every spring.
Wayne from Fredericksburg writes, I just watched your Jeff Hostetler episode again where I saw a young Brad Howell. Why is it that Tony never ages? On to the Coach Nealon episode. Well, I just wrote what he said, Brad Howell.
Who did he say? I don't know who that is.
Brad Howell.
Brad Howell.
First I've heard of that person.
Howell.
Yeah.
Well, we know why you never age. You have those cosmetic surgeries that you just had. Why does that question even need to be asked?
Brad, one of us here's had cosmetic surgery.
Some of you are just getting cosmetic surgery. Of course he looks good.
Looks great.
By the way, Brad's incredulous because like 2 people that we know in the last 2 weeks have told him that they got to get it done now too.
Really?
Yeah. Texter, 3 guys, I'd like to know your expectations for the environment and atmosphere for Penn State. As big of an atmosphere as LSU 11? Where does it rank in biggest home game since 2000? Brent from Morgantown. I'll tell you after it's over where it ranks as far as you win, best ever.
Yeah, I do expect chaos leading into it, though.
I think so, too.
You just got to keep the crowd.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you got to play well.
Yeah.
Play well to be a great atmosphere.
Texter. This is an insult as soon as he starts talking to us. Hey, Goobers, I truly enjoy the show and the varying subject matter. Obviously, we're all focused on football as we look to the opener. You youngsters will not remember when Bobby Bowden compared WVU athletics to Penn State's athletics. And how about Danny Buggs seemingly running the wrong direction only to sometimes outrun the opponents? Woo! Charleston Blair of Memphis. So I think he's talking about when Buggs used to take a punt return and go backward in order to go forward. Texter, I love the Let's Go Mountaineer chant at the stadium. It seems like the crowd only does that at the beginning, not throughout the game. Am I missing something? I thought the chant throughout the game is extremely intimidating for the visiting team. Can Scopes please speak to the cheerleading team about engaging the crowd to chant Let's Go more frequently on game days? Thanks.
Yeah, why don't you get on that?
Yogi Chris in Salt Lake City.
Great. Glad you're getting asked to talk to the cheerleading team. Yeah, great.
Chris, I love you. I've loved your contributions through the years. As I said just a little bit ago, I don't go down those roads. It's not worth it.
Hey, before we get to the last text, can we throw that one?
What do you mean last text?
We got some more text coming here. I want to throw that happy birthday to Garrett Green's mom in there. He put that tweet out this weekend saying happy birthday to his mom. I'll read it to you, in fact.
Okay.
He says, happy birthday to my rock. I love you, Mama. And he put a couple pictures, him with his mom. And then this other one that I found interesting of Garrett. I didn't know he was this well-rounded.
What?
Garrett likes to ride horses, or did when he was little. Look at Garrett on a horse.
That's little G squared?
Look. That's his mom.
How about that?
There's Garrett up on a horse.
Didn't you used to ride a horse?
Well, thanks for asking. Got me thinking of a past episode, Hoppy. I knew I liked Garrett for a reason. That big horse, Hop.
You were a ride. You rode.
Just stepped right. Look at that. I'll handle
Is
that
that
big
you?
horse. You want to give me a
Yes.
big full-size adult horse? I'll take the adult horse.
Look at that.
Age 6, 5, 4, something like that. Get right on there.
That's a big horse.
So Garrett and I, big horse guys here, well documented.
How
Like,
did that?
I don't care how small you were as a kid there, that's still a big horse. Like, if there was
Yes.
a big person on that horse, that's still a big horse.
That's a big horse. I mean, what were my parents thinking putting me on that horse? That's a
Nothing
massive
at all.
horse.
That's huge. Let me
Rode
see.
it.
Can I see Garrett again? Yeah, you see little G there.
So big horse guys there.
How?
Garrett and I.
I mean, did you take lessons or what?
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Rode for a while.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, trails, gallop,
You galloped.
oh, the whole thing.
That had to be fun.
So
Interesting.
next time we have Garrett back in to join us, we can talk some horses.
I had a bad horse experience in Ocho Rios, Jamaica.
What happened?
Well,
To take off on you?
no, it was fine.
Did you go in the water with it?
Yeah, the big thing there is to ride them in the ocean.
Yeah.
So it was all good. So I'm on it. It's bareback. So I think I've told this here.
Oh, go ahead.
9,000 episodes. I've probably told this. So like 5 or 6 horses in front of me just go in the water, and you're straddling the water, the shoreline. You just go in there, but you're up knee high, waist high, right up to your waist. Well, it's good till those horses up front start to use the bathroom.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
And then
So
they
they'll
all
start
go.
to use the bathroom, and all of a sudden, it's like you're inside that. It's like you're inside the pipe at Shawshank Redemption trying to get out.
Shawshank Redemption.
I mean, all I needed was Morgan Freeman going. There he was, Tony Caridi, riding a big horse through the most stinky, smelly sludge you'd ever see.
So you didn't have a good horse riding experience?
It was memorable.
Yeah,
I
obviously.
mean, you're in the water, so you can wash off quick. By the way, Garrett Green's mom,
Happy birthday.
happy birthday. And if you were here, tell you what I'd get you for your birthday.
What?
I'd get her the world famous Tudor's Mountaineer biscuit. You know, that's an award-winning biscuit from Tudor's Biscuit World.
World Championship, I think.
They won a competition.
Mm-hmm.
There it is right there. Look at that bad boy. I mean, you see the picture, you just want to walk to your screen and grab it. Intense competition. That one right there is packed with country ham, egg, cheese, and crispy hash browns, crowned the South's best biscuit by Garden and Gun readers. Celebrate your own West Virginia original on the way to a game. Treat yourself to a delicious breakfast, handheld, with the Tudor's Mountaineer. Start your day the homemade way. And that was, I mean, they literally had a competition of 32 different companies that make biscuits, and Tudor's won that thing. That's a world's championship.
That's incredible.
Lined up, beat him.
Thanks for having us.
Craig in St. Albans writes, I was just in Morgantown getting my youngest son moved into Seneca Hall. You guys are already familiar with my daughter, JC. She does stuff for the show.
That's
Yes,
great work.
right.
I've never met her, though, right?
Haven't either.
We have not met her, but
No.
she works with Dave.
Homeless
She
Dave.
does a lot of graphics and visual stuff for the show. My oldest son is also a West Virginia grad, and he works for the Black Bears. Before heading back out of town, I met him for a quick coffee over at Mountaineer Roasting. He was preparing to leave to meet his girlfriend's parents for the very first time.
Oh, my.
Her family lives in Tar Heel country. Her dad works inside the athletic department at University of North
Ooh,
Carolina.
This could be good.
He was trying to
You
come
show
up with
in
a
Mayo
gift.
Bowl shirt.
He-
Oh, nice to meet you.
No, he went one better. He was trying to come up with a gift for the dad. After
Mm-hmm.
quickly checking with the girl, his dad was a coffee drinker. We decided to get him a bag of Game Day Grind.
Good
That would
job.
be
Well
perfect.
done. Yeah.
Hoping he and the coffee will be a big hit. Let's go Mountaineers. Craig in St. Albans, also known as JC's dad.
Very good, Craig.
Yeah.
I'd
Good
like
work.
to know
Thank
what
you.
he thinks of that coffee.
Trying to impress the dad. First meeting with the parents.
Yeah.
Brought you a little something.
Hey,
Watching elite coffee.
Mr.
Yes.
Jones, here's some Game Day Grind. There's these geeky guys in Morgantown. That's their coffee. Available at Mountaineer Roasting. I don't think they can keep that on the shelf.
No, getting restocked now. Someone was there this morning. Already sold out over the weekend.
I know, because
Well,
I asked.
Rusty will have it back out again.
I went Fine Looking Phil. I saw Fine Looking Phil yesterday, and he told me he went in and there wasn't any. Fine Looking Phil still sells
I
it?
think he's got some on the shelf.
Yeah, so I think he had to go to the store to get it back.
I'll check that tomorrow on my shift.
Phil
It's on
selling
my-
coffee and clothes?
Mountaineer Roasting. You should maybe go over there a little bit.
Yeah, I should.
Noah from Wardensville. I, too, have bought Romney peaches. They can also sometimes be found at Grandy's on the outskirts of the Outer Banks. Always a West Virginia connection.
Always.
Isn't that neat, Hoppy? I'm a little disappointed that I didn't bait you listeners to give me some more Romney peaches because I had that one peck and that's all been it. I'd like to get them before it's too late.
Aren't there some around still?
I don't see them.
Really? Not the place in Saberton? Did you go out there?
No, where?
In Saberton, out by the Kroger's.
I don't go near Saberton much anymore since I don't work over in that rear building.
Okay. Up to you.
Next time you have Natty Neal on the show, since he's from Kentucky, what's his favorite bourbon? Thanks. Love the show.
He's probably a beer guy.
Oh, no.
He's a bourbon guy?
Well, because he grew up in it, he knows that stuff pretty good. Rick from Mercer County, if we could be guaranteed a 9-3 season, going 7-2 in the Big 12, would you take it?
Yes.
Yes.
Sold.
Take it today.
We'll talk about this later. Hard and sparse when you get to back-to-back 9-win seasons or more here at WVU. That is hard to do. Don't care league, don't care schedule. Hard to do in back-to-back years.
Don Nealon did it 3 times. Year 2, year 3, year 4. And you're right, Brad. I mean, put it into context. You played over 100 years of football. See how many times it's happened.
I'll give me that. I've got it.
Yeah. Texter says, 3 guys. I drove to Tucson, 1,965 miles with all of my tools to do a small renovation job at my daughter's new home. He asks, parenthetically, why would you not have to do so in a newly built house?
Fair.
Meanwhile,
Not happy about that.
in the 115-degree heat, I was set up in the garage. A guy stops in and asks, hey, how do you like this house? He owned the company who built it. He sees my West Virginia license plate, of course. His brother or his cousin, I blame old age and poor hearing, is or was the team physician for the Mountaineer men's basketball team. He said he had heard many legendary stories about hugs. Always a West Virginia connection, signed by Luther in Charleston. I'll tell you what, you pull out of Charleston with a truck full of tools, knowing that you got to go to Tucson, that's a long day. Right? That is a long day.
Can't get there from here.
Ben from Ohio writes, Jeff Kuntz, Mountaineer assistant, his choice of beverage is very strong. The cherry limeade ice is a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend. Did he bring it up in a press conference?
That must have been what was out on the press conference.
Yeah. 3 wise guys. Been a lot of talk about the addition of the NFL communication to college. While it has been noted that one player on the field will have the green dot, will be able to hear the communications from the sideline, but not sure how many coaches can talk to the players. Is one coach designated as the communicator, or is it an open Hoppy-style party line that multiple coaches can talk? Like one coach focuses on the play call, one on the opposition form AQ, another one with a positive headspace. Regardless, there will need to be fine orchestrated coordination to maximize the tech and keep it from becoming a complete mess. So a couple things on that. Yeah, they'll keep the communication extremely limited. It'll just be Neil. And they used the laptop thing, the hand, what do they call them things? Pads. But
iPad?
You can't call them iPads because they're Windows.
The Surface tablet?
The little monitors, the sideline, they used those this weekend. And as Neil said in his post-scrimmage press conference, like they work really good. And when they don't work, it's, a pain in the backside. So they're getting through all that. They'll get it done. Last one, I had to share a quick story. Last Thursday, while I was listening to the Over-Under Part 2, I enjoyed the banner about Chef Boyardee and his catering for Woodrow Wilson at the Greenbrier. Literally, that night on Celebrity Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, the $500,000 question was, which president did Chef Boyardee cater a honeymoon for?
That same night it was on?
Yeah. The celebrity.
The chances.
The celebrities thought it was Hoover, but they didn't know and decided to take the $250,000 and not gamble on this question. I'm in my living room saying, "It's Woodrow Wilson."
Call me.
And of course it was. When asked how I knew, I told my family that I listened to an educational podcast called 3 Guys Before the Game. You all should find comfort that your show is both educational and financially valuable in the right circumstances. Thank you for all you do.
That's classic.
First time we've been called educational.
So I remember you looked that up because you didn't believe that Chef Boyardee had worked at the Green Bar.
Well, I was just confirming. That's all.
You didn't believe.
I hadn't heard, so I was just confirming, and it was confirmed.
Sometimes you got to make a call. And if you're a business owner, make sure your calls are going through to your business. Comax Business Systems has just state-of-the-art digital phone systems that they can provide to you. You can buy them, you can rent them, you can lease them, whatever it works. From 1 line to 1,000 digital phone lines, Comax Business Systems. Wonderful folks. Bob Maxwell, the owner.
Tremendous.
He's just terrific. And his staff, they're wonderful people. So any kind of office equipment whatsoever, from phone systems to printers to copy, anything you need, they got that.
Yeah, they're diverse offensively as well.
They got a lot of playmakers.
They do a bunch of different things.
They got a lot of playmakers, and they can also remote in and provide monitoring service for your IT. Visit comaxwv.com. As I said, this is the calm before the season. That's the name of this episode. And so this is kind of a weird week. It's that week.
Every year.
Every year I say it's a weird week.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what happens. It's also an incredibly, so it's like quiet. You say quiet before, calm before the storm. It's the last thing but calm. It's crazy trying to get everything ready. Like every year I'll also say this, like starting a football season is like launching an ocean liner or a military destroyer. Like to get that to that point where you push it off is unbelievably hard. In our business, the broadcast side of things, it's amazing. And then it just seems like after you finally play the first one, like everything else just goes, and then it zips.
Mm-hmm.
But getting that thing off deck is hard.
That's a lot of areas. Facilities people thinking that right now?
It's unbelievable.
Game operations, ticketing, right? There is a lot. But from a discussion standpoint, the reason we always say that is because you've been going through, and we're so jacked up when August 1st or 3rd, whatever day practice begins, and you come out of the gate and you got all the things to talk about. And now you're kind of like, okay, we've talked about the receivers 19 different times here, right? And you're not quite to the preview of the game week, right? Next week we'll turn the page and come out firing. But this week it's kind of like, all right, just no big news. Just keep moving ahead. Just keep everything the way it should. Get to next week, game week. No big news here this week.
Keep everybody in a plastic, like wrap every player in a plastic bubble. That's what you need to do right now. Just, we're good. Get through this thing and let's rock and roll. All right, we're back on Thursday, and we'll talk more about nothing.
We had some content today.
Well, we'll find some stuff.
I'm just kidding. I think
we were educational.
Yeah, Chef Boyardee, Woodrow Wilson. Who knows? All right, back again on
Talked horses this week. You didn't think that was coming.
Who?
Horses.
Yeah, horses.
You didn't see that coming.
Brad on a horse.
Garrett on a horse. You thought we'd covered every Garrett Green angle. We had not.
No, there's a whole lot
Didn't
more.
know he was an equestrian as well.
No, there's a whole lot more to that cat. He's an equestrian. Absolutely.
In the Olympics.
Basketball's back. There's going to be the roster's not set in basketball yet. Still efforting.
Could take a big.
Yeah.
Could take a big.
There's stuff matriculating there. Who knows when that'll happen? School's starting pretty soon. 3 Guys Before the Game brought to us by Comax Business Systems. Keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. You think I listened better today? Did I have any lapses where I was
No, he did not, Hoppy. You listened well during Over-Under because, shockingly, he came back on Sportsline, both of the Over-Under episodes, and quoted things dead on exact.
Really?
From the show. It's the only time I can remember him listening that clearly during this program.
I thought he was tuned in today. I thought he was attentive.
Did I repeat anything that you guys already said?
No, I thought you were fine today. I thought you were, for you, relatively focused.
I don't know what Brad's got to attack me. 3 Guys brought to us by Gomart. Go for good times. Get a Gomart rewards card. Please, if you'd like to. I'd sign up for that Mountaineer Man trip. It would be the thrill of all thrills to run out there with the team. Take all that in. It's got to be done before the 23rd of August.
Get tickets with that, too.
Clothes, gear. Go to Gomart.com or get the Gomart app. Three guys brought to us by
Slim Jim.
Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Team runs on the field. There's this one person holding this 50-foot Slim Jim running on the field. People go, who's that? Mountaineer Man Trip winner. By Gomar. Three guys also brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way. Tudor's Biscuit World. And Spreads on Stats brought to us by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond the numbers. All right. Awesome. We're done. Learned a lot today. Learned that Hoppy had an epiphany when they gave him that list at WXVA Radio that got him to West Virginia, which was now 50 years ago. We learned that.
Brad was a equestrian.
Yeah, we learned Brad. We learned
Brad and
Garrett.
And Garrett were equestrians.
And we learned a pilot from an Oceania native flew in the Air Force and now flies for FedEx that's in Edinburgh, Scotland, doesn't miss the Mountaineers. And we also learned
and
radio.
Taking us to the Summer League in Las Vegas.
Number one. We're out. See you.